While studying a painting, you tend to look at the foreground. For example, looking at the Mona Lisa, you tend to see her eyes that follow you everywhere and peer into your soul. You observe the smirk on her face. However, you might not notice the background. You might not notice the path that's winding through the mountains, or the lake that goes on forever. Many times, while enjoying a movie or studying a book, we tend to comprehend what's laid out on the page in front of us. We focus on what is laid there, and we overpass the background. The events in the characters' past that has shaped them to who they are today. Changing our perspective of a story can change a story for anyone. Chris Gardner's life was filled with hardships, bottoming out his savings to buy bone density scanners, abandonment from his wife, sleeping on a subway floor bathroom with his son, and getting hit by a car while chasing down a bone density scanner. These events are all true in the story of The Pursuit of Happiness. In this movie, we get a glimpse of Chris Gardner's life with his young son, Christopher. The movie allows us to feel for their situation and want to help them because of their unsuitable lifestyle. Now, if we look into the background of the real Chris Gardner, we find that he did not, in fact, spend all of his money on bone density scanners. He did sell medical products. However, he did not bottom out his savings. His wife didn't leave him. As a matter of fact, he left her for another woman. Chris's son, Christopher, did indeed sleep on the floor of a subway station. As portrayed in the movie, it was only for 1 or 2 nights. In real life, it was for 2 weeks before they were told to leave. Chris was never actually hit by a car while chasing a scanner. It simply was added to enhance the film. He did not chase a scanner in real life at all. As we can see here, knowing the reality of Chris's life changes our perspective on the movie. We can see that the movie was altered to fit what the audience wants to see. We can be reading or watching a story that has been changed in order to make the story more appealing, as they do in The Pursuit of Happiness. So how can investigating the background of a story alter our perception of the story being laid out in front of us? Well, as we see in the movie, we learn the real facts. Although this movie was based on a true story, it is very loosely based because of all the inaccurate facts they added in the movie. Learning that in real life, Chris went to prison for alleged abuse of his wife instead of just unpaid parking tickets reveals a side of Chris the movie decided to omit. Learning about Chris's background with drugs changes our perception of Chris. We also find out that Chris had a daughter along with his son Christopher, who is actually 2 years old, not 5, as portrayed in the movie. All of these change the story of the movie because we find out the deeper struggles of Chris. It was hard as shown in the movie, but it was even harder in real life. The details that are changed might be small. However, they do change the movie and the story of it. Imagine living homeless with a job, no job, raising a 2-year-old. With a 5-year-old, he can at least take care of himself a little bit. But with a 2-year-old, he really depends on you. So, digging into the background of this story can show the dark side of a story. It can show the less beautiful side of a story that movies tend to portray. They sugarcoat the story to make it likable and easy for the screen. But looking into the backgrounds, it really thickens the story. The story really resonates with me because I can see the hardship that Chris endures, and I can see that he pursued what he wanted and what his dream was. And that really just inspires whoever watches this movie. And inspiration it flows out of this movie and how Chris dealt with all these hardships. Now, when we look at the background of a painting or of a movie, we can go beyond what is painted or written for the sake of the story to find out what is possibly less beautiful. We can look at the background and we can see that looking between the lines is what they say, to find the underlying meaning of a life and persona of a character. Instead of just moving with the book or the movie, we can start asking, where did this come from? And how did the character become who they are today? We must do this because without it, we would just be looking at false facts. But looking at the true story can really, really help us to resonate with the story and connect with the story. Sure, The Pursuit of Happiness is based off of the real life of Chris Gardner. However, we cannot always believe what we see. Finding out what is true and what is real changes the story. We picture it with a rugged, naked eye, knowing the details of the past and knowing the details of the truth. The background of a story can really change the story for anyone. It's as simple as that.